Is the West support for Ukraine waning? How long can the Western consensus hold? This is what the BBC asked about 4 days ago. That's about on the 2nd of June or thereabout. So, according to the Financial Times and through its columnist Edward Luce, America is currently facing its economic issues, rising inflation, and also other social issues like the gun debate and other stuff. So, this past week that just ended on the 4th of June 2022, Joe Biden made his most coherent pitch so far for America to stick on its course to prevent Russia from winning and ensure its barbarity fails. According to what he wrote in the New York Times, that is Joe Biden, he said, "We understand that freedom is not free, and if Putin expects that the US will waver or fracture in the months to come, he is mistaken." Then again, Putin's bet, according to this author, Edward Luce, Putin's bet could also prove right. The war is being fought on two levels and also fought on 3 fronts. So the 2 levels, according to Luce, is on the ground in Ukraine and then in the information space, which is to control the global narrative of this war. And these 2 phases, which is the war on the ground and then the information part of it, have entered a period of attrition. And then we all know what the 3 fronts are. The 3 fronts are essentially among the 3 protagonists. The first front is the battlefield itself, which is the ground. So it has, also in these 2 fronts. The second front is economic, and the third one is the Battle of Wales. So in terms of the real war, Russia's Plan A was pulverized in the first few weeks and led to its humiliating reversal on the road to Kyiv. And also, we are getting the news right now. The news right now is that they struck European weapons shipment in Kyiv. That's the latest news as things stand right now. So it is now trying to execute a more modest Plan B, which is to seize the Donbass and secure a land bridge to Crimea. Given Russia's methods, the term attrition may be misleading. So the information war will shape what happens on the ground. Here, the West and Ukraine may be victims of their own success. Much of the Western media have chosen to ignore everything the Russians say and draw heavily on Ukrainian data and stories, which may come at a price, as a matter of fact. Given the darkness of Russian propaganda, this is understandable, but such selectivity has 2 side effects. The first is complacency. The widespread of Russian helplessness has fueled expectation of its defeat. It's just a matter of time. It is possible, however, that the adage often attributed to Joseph Stalin that quantity has quality all of its own could become more relevant. So Russia's army may fare better with the East's shorter supply lines and easier terrain. Many of the Russian military's defects, low morale, short equipment, lack of initiative, and brutality within its ranks, were also true with Stalin's Red Army, which eventually defeated the German Wehrmacht. So, but that doesn't mean that will be the case, because that was a long time ago. The war fought by Stalin's Red Army is also a different war from what is being fought today. It's a totally different war. So in as much as the Russian army was pretty much what it is in some aspects what it was then, it's still what it is today. So if Putin's Plan B works, he will eventually return to Plan A. Okay, and we're evidently seeing that. So that Plan A is hasn't gone away. You see that attacking European shipments in Kyiv, it hasn't still gone away. Still very much relevant. he'll probably return to plan A with adjustments. The second side effect is democracy's reversion to the mean. As fear of Putin has abated, the West spirit has begun to flag. We saw that the Emmanuel Macron of France is saying that Russia shouldn't be defeated, so that a much more, I think he said, a more sustainable settlement can be achieved, maybe achieved and sustained after the war. So to some extent, that it's already coming to the fore. So as fear, the late and controversial former U.S. Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld differentiated between the response of old Europe and new Europe to Iraq war. That division remains apparent with the public mood in Italy, France, and Germany diverging from the gonzo countries such as Poland. The UK, meanwhile, is causing irritation in Washington over its habit of boasting about things it has not delivered yet. What can Biden do to keep the West shored up? Jamie Dimon, head of JP Morgan, this week warned that a hurricane was going to hit the global economy, saying a Ukraine war could push oil up to $105 a barrel. There's little Biden could do to stop that. Though the Ukraine war is only part of the problem, the prospect of the recession will test the public spiritedness on both sides of the Atlantic. This is where leadership comes in. Biden's Democrats will probably lose this year's midterm elections, but the outcome in Ukraine remains uncertain. Knowing the difference between what can be changed and what cannot is the test of any leader. So far, Biden seems to get the distinction. So see what you make of all of these things, and I'll continue to update you. So thank you very much for watching this video.